Right now, though, guys, everybody,
I'm going to talk dirty to you for a second. Math.
we've got double D sexy numbers. Dan, what do you have for us this week?
All right, Chris, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
So let's say you're a manager in the Schmoedown and you're picking your draft picks for your division or your faction. What's something that you look at to pick your competitors with?
When I look at, if I'm a manager and I'm looking to draft somebody, not only am I looking at their character and what they can bring to my faction and how I can work well with them, but I mean, you can't not look at their gameplay at the same time. And when you boiled it down, how have they done before, and how are they doing right before? Like, so how were they doing to end last season? So if I'm putting myself in this case, it's like not to say all the points they've gathered, but almost like their average, like to float around that.
The competitor's average. Very good. That's very good. That's a good, useful number. But the thing is, competitors can score higher than their average. They can score lower than their average. Wouldn't a better tool to use or better thing to use is, say, a range that they can score in from the history? Wouldn't that be useful?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, well, I have something good for you. So let's pull up this graphic right here. So 90 confidence intervals is exactly that. It takes all the history's players from what they have done in the past, and based on statistics, you see a range of the most likely possibility of a competitor could score in that match. Now, it also depends on how often they've competed, because the longer the range is, means that they don't compete that as much. The smaller the range is, the better, because that means that they've been in this division long, they've played more matches, and you're more confident with their numbers. So this is all the competitors from next week. So Video Drew is going up against Elliot Dewberry. Her range is between 38 points and 0 points. And Elliot Dewberry's range is 22.5 points and 0 points. Now, yes, Elliot Dewberry's is smaller, and his average is smaller than Video Drew's, because Video Drew's average is 14 points. Elliot Dewberry's is around 10 points. But with the fact that he's with Corruption and he seems like he's getting better now that he's done Makuga, sorry to say, he seems like he's getting better, that might actually increase. So I'm thinking Elliot Dewberry has the better confidence that you're going to get him somewhere between 0 and 20 points, whereas Video Drew, she's somewhere, it's a much bigger range. The next match is between Paul Preston and James White. Paul Preston has been in this league for several years now. He's played some matches. James White's only played twice. So James White's range is between 40 and 0 points with an average of 18.5. And Paul Preston's range is between 23 points and 10 points with an average of 17 points. So even though they have close averages, I'm saying that Paul Preston has more confidence going into his match than James White, because he's played more, and therefore I think he's going to be most likely to win. But let's go on to the next match, so the next few matches, which is the live event on Friday. You have Liz Shannon Miller going against John Roca. These two players have been here for a while. They've played a lot of matches. Liz Shannon Miller's average is 17 points, where her range is somewhere between 21 points and 12 points, which is pretty small. So that's pretty good. But John Roca's range is between 19 and 15 points. That's only a 4-point swing, and his average is at 17. So that means that they're going to be close. It's going to be a tight match. But I want to say, and yes, I'm a little biased here because Liz Shannon Miller's on my fantasy draft, the league. I think Liz is going to pull out the win most likely, but don't count out John Roca. I think he might actually be a little bit better. Now let's go on to the final match, the last Battlefield match of the night. It's with Mark Riley versus Ben Bateman. Mark Riley's average is somewhere between 15 points, and his range is somewhere between about 19 to 12 points. And Ben Bateman is somewhere between his range is somewhere between 21 points and 16 points, with an average of about 19 points. So what does that mean? It means that Ben Bateman is slightly better, and he has the best chance to beat Mark Riley. And even though it's possible that Mark Riley does win, but he's going to have a lot harder time against Ben because his range is a confidence range is so much more tighter and higher than Mark Riley's. So we can take this little graphic. So what are your thoughts on this?
First of all, like hell yeah, dude, that was awesome. Like that, that's a way I've never looked at the Schmoedown before. I mean, confidence plays a big part, and like that may tie into the character, but also your performance as well. So, looking at the matches, at least at the competitors that we know of, because I know we have a rookie match this upcoming week as well. Obviously, we don't know how. Yeah, we don't know how they're gonna do. We'll see. But oh my god, seeing the disparities between Video Drew, Ellie Dewberry, and James White and Paul Preston were surreal for a second until I remembered that White hasn't played too much.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the point, is that if you haven't played that much, then you have a much wider range because, hey, maybe you can score higher, maybe you can score lower, and we just don't have enough evidence to suggest that, hey, he might actually be this good. But with Paul Preston, we have more evidence to suggest that this is where he's going to score more points with. So he's got a lot more confidence going to win this match more than Ellie Dewberry because James White, I mean, because he hasn't played that much. We haven't seen a lot of them. So he has more to prove than Paul Preston.
Totally. And seeing the ones that intrigue me, that intrigue the hell out of me, are the ones for the pay-per-view this upcoming Friday.
Battlefield?
Yeah, at Battlefield between LSM and Roka. And this makes me question, Dan, do we have the same fantasy team? Because I also have LSM on my team. And same thing for Bateman and Riley. I have Bateman. But those two matches they can be really tight. And judging by those scores or by your numbers, like those ranges are really tight and they're awfully close to one another. There's no big disparity between the two.
True.
And I mean, I think the match will be closer personally between LSM and Roka. And like, I don't know if we can pull the picture back up.
Oh yeah, let's pull the picture back up.
Yeah, but like look at LSM and Roka. Oh my god, it's 0.01 points between one another. And their averages are like, although Roka's average is a little bit tighter, I'm assuming it's because he's played so many matches.
Exactly. I think there's 14 matches with Roka, and I don't know how many numbers. I don't have the numbers right here, but yeah.
But still, like Roka still played a ton more matches, and like compared to Riley and Bateman, like they have like a 3-ish point swing between one another when you boil it down to what like the average would be between their lowest and their highs, the high ranges. But that LSM Roka match on paper and from what you just showed to us should be the match of the week next week, if we had to distinguish one.
Exactly, but I would say that I think the stronger competitor would be Liz Shannon Miller, because I've been a little bit more impressed by her than John, unfortunately. Even though I am a fan of this, it's like, but hey, maybe he'll surprise us. We'll never know. We'll see. Let's wait and see.
And I mean, I have LSM too, but you can't sleep on Roka, especially a Roka who has something to prove. When he has a chip on his shoulder, he's awfully dangerous. We saw what he's capable of, like against Ethan, and like he took Ethan to sudden death. Like, and Ethan inevitably ended up losing to Dan, but still. And if Roka didn't run into the wall that was Adam Collins last year, who knows what he would have been able to do in the tournament. So Roka has something to prove, but I have LSM ever so slightly, as does your chart.
Yep.
You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.